The flag wasn't big. Just a small red banner with a thin blue line running through it, the kind you hang quietly, not to make a statement, but to remember. For Tom Harris, it wasn't decoration, it was memory. He'd been a firefighter for 22 years before a collapsing beam ended his career, and took his best friend, Mark Dalton, with it. When Tom moved into Oakwood Meadows, he thought the quiet neighborhood would give him peace. The first thing he did was hang that small flag from a wooden post by his porch. Every morning he'd salute it with a cup of coffee, whisper something under his breath, and start his day. He didn't expect the HOA to notice. But they did. The first letter came 2 weeks later. Dear Mr. Harris, please remove unauthorized signage from your property. Flags not representing the United States, state, or military branches violate Section 8.4 of the HOA guidelines. Compliance required within 7 days to avoid fines. Tom stared at the paper. He'd seen pettiness before, in arguments about lawn heights, fence colors, mailbox styles, but this. He called the number on the letter. A woman answered. Oakwood Meadows Homeowners Association, this is Sandra Lay, President. Hi, Tom said evenly. I'm calling about a notice I got. It's about my flag. Yes, she said crisply. That flag is not permitted. Only standard American flags are allowed. Tom's voice stayed calm. Ma'am, that is the American flag. It's the thin blue line version to honor fallen first responders. Sandra's tone cooled. We don't allow political symbols. It's not political, Tom said quietly. It's personal. Rules are rules, she said. Please take it down. He hung up without another word. That night, Tom sat on the porch, staring at the flag. The wind tugged it gently, as if reminding him of all the years he and Mark had spent side by side, hauling hoses, cutting through smoke, saving strangers. He thought of the day Mark died, the radio static, the sirens, the moment the floor gave way. He whispered, I won't take it down, buddy, not ever. A few mornings later, he found another envelope, this one thicker, marked Final Warning. Failure to remove the unauthorized flag will result in daily fines and potential legal action. The words didn't scare him, but the anger behind them burned deeper than any fire he'd fought. Still, Tom didn't want war, he wanted respect. So he decided to go through official channels. He printed photos of the flag, the US flag code, and documents showing that the thin blue line flag had been recognized in multiple states as a memorial symbol. He even attached an article about firefighters who died in the same blaze as Mark. Then he walked down to the HOA office and handed it all to Sandra personally. She barely looked at it. Mr. Harris, emotional arguments don't override HOA policy. He looked her straight in the eyes. Then maybe your policy's broken. Days passed. Then came the fines. $100 every day. Neighbors started whispering. Some said Tom was being defiant. Others quietly admired his stand. One afternoon, an elderly neighbor named Mr. Peterson came over with lemonade. Tom, he said, I fought in Vietnam. You don't take down a flag when it means something. You hold the line. Tom smiled faintly. That's the plan. But the HOA wasn't done. A week later, he came home to find the flag missing. The pole was still there, snapped clean near the base. The flag gone. He felt the air leave his lungs. He checked his security camera footage. The video showed two men in reflective vests, HOA maintenance workers, walking up to his porch, removing the flag, and driving off in a truck with the HOA's logo. Tom copied the footage onto a flash drive. Then he made 2 phone calls, one to the police and one to the local news station. The next evening, a reporter knocked on his door. Mr. Harris, she said, we heard about your flag being removed. Can we talk on camera? He nodded. He didn't rant or yell. He just told the story about the fire, about Mark, about what the flag meant. When the reporter asked what he wanted, he simply said, "Respect, that's all." The segment aired that night. By morning, the story had gone viral. Messages flooded in from firefighters, veterans, police officers, and everyday people. The HOA office phone rang non-stop. Sandra called him personally. "Mr. Harris," she said carefully, "we'd like to resolve this privately." Tom replied, "You should have thought of that before you stole my flag." That same afternoon, the city council reached out. The mayor himself wanted to meet him. At the meeting, the mayor said, "Tom, what you experienced isn't just wrong, it may be illegal under the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act. We are reviewing it now." The council voted unanimously to issue a formal citation against the HOA for removing his flag without cause. Within a week, the HOA reversed its policy. All fines were cancelled, and Sandra was forced to issue a written apology. But Tom wasn't done yet. He used part of his savings to order a larger flagpole, one that stood 12 feet tall. On the day he raised it, dozens of neighbors came out to help. Fire trucks from 2 nearby stations pulled up quietly at the curb. As the flag climbed higher into the blue sky, Tom felt a lump in his throat. The wind caught the fabric, and it fluttered proudly, sunlight gleaming off the blue line. Someone started clapping, then everyone joined in. For the first time in months, Tom felt peace. A few days later, Sandra showed up at his house. She stood at the edge of the driveway, clearly uncomfortable. "I came to apologize," she said. "We acted too harshly." Tom nodded. "You did what you thought was right. Now you know better." She hesitated. "That flag, it's for someone specific, isn't it?" He looked at the pole. "Yeah, for Mark Dalton, my partner. He saved 3 kids that day, didn't make it out himself." Sandra's eyes softened. "I'm sorry, Mr. Harris, truly." He nodded again. "So am I, but maybe something good came out of it." The next week, a small plaque appeared near the neighborhood's entrance. It read, "In honor of all first responders who gave everything for others. Dedicated after the events of the Harris flag dispute, 2025. No one ever touched Tom's flag again." Months later, on the anniversary of Mark's death, Tom sat on his porch as the sun went down. The flag rippled gently in the breeze, the blue line glowing faintly in the fading light. He raised his coffee cup toward it. "Still watching, partner," he said quietly. "They finally understand." The wind blew stronger, just for a moment, and the flag lifted high, proud, untouchable, free.